At what point did you have the, I don't know if it's concept or realization or desire to bring the percussion to the front of the stage and to sort of reconceptualize the role of percussion in your own practice, your own performance, your own creativity?
When I got into playing percussion, I grew up in a very kind of like rural, remote area. And for better or worse, we didn't have exposure to a symphony orchestra when I was just starting out. I think that my path may have been very different if we did, but who knows? Fate is fate. But what ended up happening was I got into percussion, but I've always felt from the first time that I started playing the drums, I always felt and heard and played them as if they were like melodic instruments. It was just natural to me to hear and play drums that way. It was only when I got exposed to it more in different types and genres of music where I realized that there's the opposite of that, where people consider drums as just like as loud as you can play, as fast as you can play. That's how you are determined if you're good or not. But to me, I love melodies, singing, and expressiveness in that type of way. And so when I got into playing drums, I was almost taken back that there was like everybody just assumed when I said that I played the drums that, oh, like how fast and loud can you play? And I was thinking, I would rather compare myself to the violinist than somebody who's just like trying to see how fast and loud they can play.
Mm.
When I started to realize that that was really where I felt like I could make an impact in percussion was like really leaning into how I hear percussion. That's when I started to search like, well, how could I actually do this? Luckily, I got into one of the youth symphonies in the area and started to realize, wow, there's soloists that play in front of the stage, these concertos and things, but most of them are violinists or pianists, which again, I was like, I'm very drawn to that melodic like sense of things. And I was like, why don't people hear percussion that way? Like, why can't we have percussionists standing up there and playing all the percussion pieces like beautifully and melodically in the same way that these other soloists are playing concertos? And so that's when I kind of had the shift of maybe this is somewhere where I could make an impact and start to bring percussion to the front of the stage. Very quickly, I realized that it was a very big task, a
Wow.
very big effort, and
Because of lack of repertoire or lack of audience acceptance or?
both. I mean, lack of repertoire, lack of areas where I could actually expose the repertoire that did exist. Like most of the competitions wouldn't even allow percussionists to join